Okay, so in question number 1, it's pretty simple differentiation. To differentiate, you just have to multiply these two numbers and subtract your exponent by 1. So 4 times 4 is 16 x, and if I subtract by 1, it becomes 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract 1, it becomes square. 2 times 9 is 18. If I subtract 2 minus 1, it's 1, so I don't write the 1 over there. An x term just becomes a constant. The x just disappears, and if you have a constant, that just disappears completely. So that is my final solution. Let's take a look at a bit of a harder question. Now we have fractions and negative numbers in the exponent. I'm going to change things a bit. So half times 4 is just 2. And if I subtract 1, half minus 1 is negative half. Negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. And negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. 4x just turns into 4, and negative 1 just disappears. But this is not the final solution. Because you have negative exponents, you still have to simplify and get rid of negative exponents, and you just move things into the bottom to do that. So I just have 2 over x half, now it's a positive exponent, plus 21 over x, 4, again positive exponent, and then the 4 just stays the same. Okay, let's go to a couple of even harder examples. Let's look at number 3 over here. So in number 3, we have two differences. We have a square root, and we also have an x in the denominator. So whenever you have either of these two cases, you have to always simplify first by converting them to exponents. So that's going to be, remember, I have not derived yet. I'm only simplifying right now. 7x to the power of half. And this is going to be 4x to the power of negative 5. Now that I've simplified, got rid of the roots and the x's in the denominator, I can derive this. So if I'm deriving this, 7 times half is just 7 over 2. And half minus 1 is negative half. And 4 times negative 5 is minus 20. Negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Finally, I have to simplify this and get rid of the negative exponents in my final solution. This is my derived solution. So I'm going to move this x minus half to the bottom. So I have 7 over 2x half. And here I'm going to move the x minus 6 to the bottom. So that is my final solution for this question. Let's take one last quick look at something a bit more difficult. Now this is the hardest simple derivation can get. I have a cube root there, so that's just 6x to the power of 1 over 3. And here I have an x, a root x in the denominator. So if I simplify that, it's 8 over x to the power of half. But you're still not allowed x's in the bottom when you derive. So I'm going to move that to the top. It's going to become 8x to the power of negative half, and now I can derive this. If I multiply 1 over 3 times 6, I get 2. And 1 over 3 minus 1 is negative 2 over 3. Negative half times 8 is negative 4. Negative half minus 1 is negative 3 over 2. Now in my final step, I'm just going to make my exponents positive. So I have 2 over x to the power of 2 over 3 minus 4 over x to the power of 3 over 2.